recently Kevin Durant spoke out and he said that he feels like he should be involved in the GOAT debate. He basically is saying, what hasn't he done in the NBA to be considered one of the greatest players of all time? And in a way, he has a point. I mean, he's a 13-time, 14-time, whatever time All-Star. He's and won an MVP. He's a two-time champion, two-time Finals MVP. But the undeniable fact that everyone knows is that most people hold it against Kevin Durant that he went to the Golden State Warriors because they felt like the team was just too good and it was just like unfair because they had Steph, Clay, and Dre in the gang, right? But if you're looking at it from Kevin Durant's perspective, he was still the best player on those teams, was still the Finals MVP of those teams, clearly the closing player of those teams, even though no one's going to deny how great Steph and the rest of the guys were. Now, really, when you put Kevin Durant's argument of should he be in the GOAT debate, it really just depends on how you view the actual GOAT debate. Now, mainstream media and how a lot of people view the GOAT debate is that it's just the top two players. Like, who is the actual GOAT? There's one player, and you're either arguing the top two. And right now, it seems like that's LeBron and Jordan, right? Me personally, the way I grew up, everything I look at it in top fives. Like if you ask me who's your favorite, who's the best basketball players, who's the best rappers, who's the best anything, I'm going to give you a top five or I'm going to ask you your top five. That's just how I personally view everything. That's how I've always ranked everything my whole life. So if we talk about the GOAT debate, I'm not just going to be like it's LeBron and Jordan. I'm going to be like, well, in the GOAT debate, to me, it's my top five players. It's going to be Jordan. It's going to be LeBron. It's going to be Kobe. It's going to be Kareem. And I think Kevin Durant has a moderate to decent case on why he could be that fifth player. Again, like I said, it all depends on how you view the GOAT debate. If you view the GOAT debate as the top two players and whoever's those top two are the only ones in the conversation, then maybe for a lot of people, Kevin Durant won't be there. But personally, that's not how I view the GOAT debate, and maybe that's not how other people view it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not how Kevin Durant views it. Now, do I think Kevin Durant is even the fifth best player of all time? You'd be hard-pressed. I would have to have a look out in front of me, but he's right around there. You think about other great players like Shaq and Tim Duncan and maybe Hakeem Olajuwon, other players that might be right around that, Magic Johnson, right around that fifth player range. Depending on what you view as being a great player like Magic Johnson, he was an all-time great passer, one of the greatest playmakers of all time. But you could argue that Magic Johnson also had three other Hall of Famers on his team. He was always on a great team also. He had a lot of years where maybe Kareem was the best player on the team and he wasn't the best player on the team. Kevin Durant has an argument. There has never been a time in Kevin Durant's career where he wasn't the best player on his team. How many players can even say that? My all-time favorite player is Kobe Bryant, and he can't even say that. You know what I mean? That his entire career, he was the best player on his team. And I think Kobe is an all-time greater player than Kevin Durant. But again, how many players can legitimately say for their entire career they were the best player on each and every team they were on? Not a lot of people can say that, right? In some people's mind, that may make Kevin Durant one of the greatest players in NBA history. That may put him in the GOAT conversation. Now, I get it. Him joining Golden State was a weak move. A lot of people felt it was weak. I thought, me personally, I thought that he was a free agent. He kind of could do what he wants. I didn't think it was the wrongest thing in the world. But I think there's also something to be said for the fact that he was on a team that became so dominant that the league almost bullied him into leaving. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that really stopped the Warriors was injuries. And then the fact that the media almost like broke them apart. You know what I mean? Like it didn't seem like any team could beat them healthy and full. And to the point that they were just like, this is pointless. We might as well split up. You know what I mean? There's no other team really or combination of players that's ever been like that where they just broke up because it borderline seemed like it was unfair to stay together. There's no other combo. Not Jordan and the boys, not Kobe and the Lakers, not any of LeBron's teams. There's no other teams that can say that. So now while I think that I personally would not say that Kevin Durant is a GOAT by any means necessarily, I do think he is one of the greatest players, and I do think that he has a legit argument, depending on how you view the GOAT conversation, to be considered one of the greatest players of all time. He has a point. There's nothing he hasn't do. He has an argument that he is one of the most prolific, if not the best scorer in NBA history. Obviously, he won't have the most points or whatever just because of longevity and injuries, but he is a 3-level scorer at 7 foot. He was one of the first, if not the first 7-footer we saw dribbling the ball and ISO scoring from all 3 points on the floor. Like, when you talk about changing the game, Kevin Durant, in a way, changed the game the same way players like Steph did, the same way players like Shaq did. So, like, I know it sounds blasphemous because, again, everyone holds that Warriors thing against him, and I understandably so. But let's not just completely act like we don't know who Kevin Durant is. Like, he hasn't carried every team he's been on and been the dominant force on the team. Like, he's not one of the best scorers. He's a 4-time scoring champ now. Like, let's not get it twisted. Not too many people repeatedly lead the league in scoring. So, y'all let me know what you think, man. Do you think KD's tripping? Do you think he's not even a top 10, top 20 player in NBA history? Do you think he got a point that he should be considered in the GOAT conversation? Do you think KD is the GOAT? Fuck it. Do you think KD the best player ever? Y'all let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys for rocking out with me. It's your boy Zoe, and I'm out.